Okay, everybody, we're back with Photoshop 101.1 Basic Image Correction. This tutorial is about how to bring images into Photoshop and fix them for your portfolios. It works best if the images are good or great to begin with, but we're going to show you some bad images and how we might be able to make do with them. So here we go. Let's get rid of this image. Let's head over to this one here from Pat. As you can see, it looks like we have some reflection down here. We have a skewed image, and then it's just overall gray and grainy. Not too great, but let's just show how to fix that. So what I usually do for an image like this is I start in and I drop some guides into place. Okay, and these guides are going to help me skew the image so that it fits. Let me pull this thing up. Skew the image so that it fits this a square again. We're going to make it a rectangle. Right now it's a trapezoid or something like that. Alright, so what we do is we select this thing a little bit outside of the image. And we go to this thing called, under the edit menu called Free Transform, Command T. So learn that one because that's one of the most powerful things. I mean, one of the most common things I use every day in Photoshop. Alright, so Command T. We get these little, these little pieces here. You've seen them before. What we do is when I hold down the Command key, look at the cursor. Okay, when I hold down the Command key, it becomes this white arrow, and that allows me to do something like this. Just pull it whatever direction I want. And I can just sort of massage this thing back into place, trying to fit my guides as best I can. And pull this up and over just a little bit. Alright, I'm sort of hiding the guides just to see how it looks. Maybe I'll just pull this one up a little bit higher over here, a little bit further over. Good, so hide the guides is Command semicolon or colon. Now that I have it like I hit return and it saves those things. Command D will deselect, get rid of the selection. So there we go. Next step would be to take this thing, and I don't need that black frame. The piece is about the octopus, not about the frame. So what I'm going to do is just grab the marquee tool over here, and I'm going to crop it. So image, crop, look at that. And I don't want any little bits of the frame around here. So make sure you got good clean edges. So now that I have the octopus in the right perspective, then I'm going to go over to my best friend, levels. It's in the adjustment menu. But it's better actually to do levels over here. Okay, we can create a layer called an adjustment layer, which you may know about. Down in the bottom of this thing, this little sort of circle with a half filled in. You click on that and you pull up this menu, and there's a bunch of stuff in here. I use like hue, saturation, color balance, black and white's handy. Levels is right up here. Let's just select that. What it does is it creates a levels menu, levels layer, sorry, right here, and this is what it looks like. This thing's called a histogram, and this shows the general distribution of lights and darks. As you can see, the white point isn't even being met by the image. There's no, the white isn't even in the image. So I can drag this, right, and I can bring, make the image lighter. And you might have done this before, okay? Pull it back over like that. But that's not what we're gonna do now. We're gonna do something called setting the white point. All right, this one sets the black point. I think this sets the mid-range. This sets the white point, and that's one of the most handy things that I've found to use. One click in the right spot, and I can fix this image. Look at that. One little click. Fix it up a little bit. Now you might want to come over here and pull these in, brighten it up just a little bit, but watch this middle area. We don't want to burn it out. See that? We sort of burn it out. You don't want those big holes of white. Let's bring this the gray tone in, and let's pull the blacks in a little bit. Pull the black tones in, and then bring the mid-tones back out, and look what we start to do. We start to bring this image back from the dead. We might even make it better than the original. But given the poor state of this photograph, I don't think that's possible. So let's close this window. Now we have this. So this is in a layer, so I can just sort of click it on and off. You can see the before and the after. Now there's a little bit of color in there that I don't really like. Okay, So I could go up to mode and turn it to grayscale, or I could go to adjustments and go down to desaturate, or I would be able to if I click on the image itself. I can go to adjustments and desaturate the image, but I'm better off having some control over that because it's all about control. So we come back down to this adjustment layers thing. We click on it again, and we pull up hue saturation. There's a bunch of ways to do this, but this is the way I usually do it. Bring up the hue saturation. It looks very colorful, isn't it? So you see all these colors here. What we're going to do is there's a hue which will sort of change the color of the image. We don't want to do any of that garbage. Let's just reset this to 0. And then there's a lightness thing which will change the general lightness or darkness overall. Not incredibly useful in this context. There's a place for that. What we're going to do is we're going to go desaturation. So watch what happens when I saturate. You can see that I'm bringing out the yellows and the greens, okay? We want to push those back, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this. See how it's going to a negative number? I'm going to drag it back. That's fully desaturated. That's a black and white image. But I'm going to leave a little bit of color in there, a little bit of warm color, just to, because this image was probably not black and white. When you look at it, it's got, maybe a little bit of reflection of light, or it's, I think it's going to look better. It's not. Now, you see there's a little bit of a gray up there. Let's just pull that down a little bit further. Yeah, there we go. Get rid of some of that green. There's also this other one here, hue saturation, you might want to play with. Color balance. Color balance allows you to shift the general color. So I could warm it up by bringing some of the reds in. See that? I could just drag a little bit of red in there. Okay? I don't want any more green in there, but you can select shadows, midtones, or highlights. Midtones are what I care about now, but you might want to choose highlights to warm up the highlights too, just a little bit. All right, so there we go. We've got a little bit of, let's open up the layers and you can see they're all there. If I get rid of them all, you can see this is where I started. And then when I add, each thing that I add to this thing makes it a little bit better. Okay? And it changes, depending on where these are, it'll change the look of the image. Okay? So you may have to sort of move these layers around because they multiply their effect. And depending on what layer they're in, it changes how that effect is multiplied. So anyway, that image is looking all right. One last thing I might do, and I should recommend on every image, you give it a little bit of sharpness. You go to this thing called Unsharp Mask. It's under Filters. Go all the way to Sharpen, Unsharp Mask. And that's the only sharpen. Don't do any of the sharpen edges, sharpen more. I mean, that's all garbage. Unsharp Mask, full control. Unsharp Mask looks like this. We choose a place on the image. Oh wait, it's blank because I'm on one of the other layers. Let's click the real image layer. And let's go back down to Sharpen. Unsharp Mask. Oop, wrong one. Unsharp Mask. There we are. This is my image. Click on this. Let's pull it in. You don't want it any more than 100% because you're not going to be able to see. Zooming in is not going to help you. So don't zoom into like 200% because you're going to see all those pixels. So let's just do, see what happens. Watch when I click. See how it's fuzzy? That's the original. When I let go, that's the sharpened. So this is your little preview. And you can move this thing around, anywhere you want. Choose a place you want to work with. And, 77 is not bad. You want to use as little sharpness as you need. The less sharpness, the better in terms of, you don't want to over sharpen. You come up here and something like that. That may look cool, but it's just frying the image. Look at how that image is now just sort of like ultra, it's a little bit frantic with all of its sharpness. So there you go. Just want to sharpen it up just a little bit. Command Z, this is what it looked like before. That's what it looks like now. It may not show, but it looks a little bit better here. So once I have this all set, you probably want to save these things as, let's call this Octopus PSD. I recommend in your GD portfolio, you have an images and you call it source images. Okay, and you put the Photoshop files. So that way, if you want to edit them, you come on back, you open this file up, and you can re-export it. And then what I would do is I would come down here, and I would go probably save for web, and take this image, make it a JPEG. There's a bunch of options here, but JPEG's the one. I would ramp this up a little bit. It doesn't have to be too high, but maybe 80% for this purpose. When you're putting it on the web, oh, look at that. I don't like that. There's a little bit of black in that corner. See that? All right, that's the kind of stuff that's going to kill it once it gets on the white background, if you have a white background. So everything looks good. 366 by 47, not really big enough. Okay, you want these images to probably be, your pixel size is probably going to be something like 600 pixels high. So this image is not big enough, so it needs to be shot at a higher resolution, just to put that out there. I'm not going to change it now because it's not going to make it any better. Then we hit return, we export this thing, and Octopus JPEG. Now we come back to the desktop. In our portfolio, we're going to put a folder called maybe images or links or linked images, just something you can you can remember. Okay, linked images, and then I'm going to save that right in that folder. Okay, one more thing while I'm at it. Take a look at this image. See how it has this sort of patina or this sort of fuzzy edge around the bottom? We don't like that. That's not cool. So what I'm going to do is if you take a look at my layers, I have a white layer behind it, just to show it, and then there's the image layer. Okay, should always label these things. This is just good form. Background. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just go back to my layers. Where is my layers here? Right here. Now pull up layers. There we go. And I'm going to grab that white point, set the white point. Watch this magic. Bing. One click. All done. I didn't have to mess with this stuff. But sometimes I usually grab this and just pull it over a little bit, just to, clean it up. Now that I have this, I can do save for web again. This is a great size. Height 648, width 936. Perfect. Now we're going to export this thing, and we're going to put this into our linked images folder, and then we're going to save this thing as a PSD file, just like that, and we're going to put it into our sources folder. So if I want to go back and edit anything, I can. Okay. So that is Photoshop 101.1, simple image correction. This should be what you need to at least get your images into a suitable form. We'll take a look and see if we might need to reshoot them next time. So there you go.